is very closely allied with Turkey. And, you know, all the things that you've just said, what we really seem to hear from that is, look, Qatar is trying to sort of piggyback or step into the breach where the Saudis have decided to step back, where the Saudis now, as we've seen in the media, for instance, are finally actually, they've received a lot of criticism for things that they've done in the past, things that they've also done recently. And the Qataris, you know, it's extraordinary the degree to which they've been able to play this game, not only in terms of media influence, but also at universities. They seem to just really understand, in some ways, I don't know if the weaknesses of the West or the issues taking place in the West, but in the West sometimes understands itself. So, for instance, where is the version of Al Jazeera Plus in Arabic? You know, where is the... And there, of course, if you'd asked Western diplomats, there'd be no sense of, yeah, well, we need pushback. You know, like, okay, so if they're going to fund our universities, so we'll fund universities there to teach, like, about, you know, liberal concepts or whatever. We'll spread our ideas, and you know, it'll be some sort of a thing. Okay, so you're going to have Al Jazeera here, so we'll beam in our channel into your country or what have you. Like, maybe it would have taken place in the Soviet period where there was maybe more pushback against Soviet domination. So it's fascinating the degree to which the Qataris have been able to step into this. It seems to me that, you know, not only do we need more transparency to understand the full nature of what's going on and to use the tools that exist. In the end of the day, America is a democracy, and America has powerful tools to deal with this. The problem with democracies is historically they tend to be a little bit slow. Just like in the 1920s and 30s, the democracies were slow to catch up to what's going on with the rise of fascism in Europe. Or, by the way, democracies were very slow to understand not only the Soviet threat, but also, for instance, I understand, you know, you look back at the 1960s and 70s, the way the Soviets tried to co-opt certain protest movements or whatever. The Soviets played the same game, right? There's no protests at home in the Soviet Union, but we're going to fund a bunch of workers' strikes and protests in your country, but you don't get to do that in our country. Okay, but eventually the Soviet Union obviously fell apart. Fascism was defeated. I just think that democracies are slow, but the fact is that there probably should be a way in which eventually the United States begins to understand what part of what the Qataris is doing is threatening or problematic, and what part of it isn't. And probably there's parts of the things that the Qatar is doing that are maybe not as problematic, and then there's parts that are. But the important thing is to reveal it, to show it and explain it, and also to understand, you know, why is this one very small country trying to fund so many things, right? If this was another country, I assume some of the way that Qatar